You're listening to Turn 2 Podcast presented by Nosebleed Knowledge. Now here's your host, Tucker Franklin.
What's going on, guys? Episode number 8 of Turn 2 Podcast just about baseball. I'm here with my boy KB here in Brennan.
How's it going?
We're here to talk about this last week in baseball. We'll kick it off. One of the big series is last week. American League East, Yankees, Red Sox happened over the weekend. The last Game 3 was on Sunday. None of the games were close. I believe the Yankees won the first game by double digits, Red Sox won the second game by double digits, and then the Yankees won the third game by double digits. So it's kind of odd to see, especially teams that are both these teams are very good, have scores like this that are so lopsided.
Yeah, I'm not real sure what the takeaway is from here, because the first game, the Yankees won 8-1. The second game, Red Sox won 11-0. And then the third game, Yankees won, I just had it.
11-1.
11-1. So, yeah, it's kind of difficult to read from this. Third game, David Price had probably the worst start of his career. So I don't think you can read too far into that. It kind of looks like a fluke. You know, the third game, Chris Sale just absolutely shut down the Yankees. So I think it speaks more to just the Red Sox pitching. They just didn't have it, you know?
I'm with you on that. It's kind of tough to judge these games, especially that they were all blowouts. You can't really judge how good these teams are. We both know, well, they're good. We know that they're both really good, and it's just hard to compare. I'll stack them up against each other with this series right here. Yeah,
looking at it, because both teams are kind of streaking coming into this, or streaky, not streaking, and so just the fact that they just mollywopped each other, just traded blows, it'll be interesting. It's more seeing how the teams respond from this tough weekend, particularly the Red Sox, that will show how good these teams really are. And we all know that they're super good. So I think the integrity of the team will show in this next week, 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. The Red Sox right now playing the Nationals in this series from Monday when we record this to Wednesday. Then they come to Kansas City on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm actually planning on going to that Red Sox game on Saturday in Kansas City because I want to see this Red Sox team. I want to see Mookie Betts, Benintendi, Benny Biceps. I want to see all those guys. JD Martinez. That's one of the teams that Kieran and I actually went to the game on Monday, which was last week's episode. Wow, that was a week ago. This seems a lot longer than a week ago.
Let's see. Looking at it, you're set to see from the Royals. Probable pitchers, looks like the Royals on Saturday, they'd be set to send Brad Keller out there.
Boy. Hey, we saw Brad Keller pitch to Jim.
He pitched a gem piece. So, against a pretty solid Angels lineup. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do the same against the Red Sox.
I think the Red Sox lineup's a little bit better than that Angels lineup. Like you said, that Angels lineup in 2012 would have been stellar.
Yeah, but it's not 2012.
Absolutely stellar. It is 2018, and this Red Sox lineup is absolutely stellar. We'll look and see who the Yankees have coming up. Do you know off the top of your head who the Yankees have?
Well, right now, this week on my series to watch, they're playing the Braves for the next 3 games. So that'll be tough. And then they go for a series in Toronto. Toronto hasn't been a great team this year. They're kind of injury-plagued with Josh Donaldson missing a lot of the season. Plus, Marcus Stroman hasn't been pitching as well as he normally has. And the team's just not the offensive powerhouse that we've seen in years past. So that should be, I hate to say, but that should be a series win for the Yankees.
Yeah, you think, really, if you go back to who the Red Sox are playing, They go Royals, and they go Rangers, and then they go Blue Jays, Tigers, Orioles, Twins. All teams that aren't very good. You go back to the Yankees, see who the Yankees are playing. Like you said, they're playing the Braves this week. Won't be a pushover. They're tied right now, middle of the sixth, 3-3 on Monday. Then they play the Braves, the Blue Jays, the Orioles. Indians are the best team in the American League Central, but they're still floating around 500. Then they play the Mets, the Rays, the Royals, the Orioles. So they don't have. And then they play the Red Sox at the beginning of August. So in between times when they play the Red Sox, some weak squads.
No. Oh, for sure.
It's the same.
Looking at how the probable pitchers line up, you might see on Saturday. You might see David Price or Chris Sale.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind seeing either of those fellas. A couple of fellas that are good at throwing the old baseball around.
The old, what's it, cowhide?
Old cowhide. We'll move on to our next topic that we have. Indians. Royals are actually playing the Indians right now. I think it's tied 2-2, what I saw. But Danny Salazar, one of their stud pitchers, out for the 2018 season following shoulder surgery. So, tough break for the Indians, especially a team that's kind of been hovering around 500, but they've been able to stay alive because of how bad the Central is.
Yeah, this, like you said, Danny Salazar, really good pitcher for the Indians, but, this injury is going to hurt, but the Indians got plenty of really good pitchers. People might forget they have a guy by the name of Corey Kluber. He's pretty good. His last start, I think, was against the Cardinals, roughed him up a little bit, but, no way he has back-to-back starts like that. Then they got Mike Clevenger, who's been pitching out of his mind. And so, this team has a lot of good pitchers. They just get glossed over. Trevor Bauer's been pitching really good, too. So the fact that they lost Danny Salazar, I don't think it's going to hurt them in the Central race. I hate to say it, but I really don't. And the only time it will hurt them will be in the playoffs, which the AL is absolutely loaded this year. So I don't really see them going that far in the playoffs anyway.
Right. You look at the Central standings, like I said, pretty weak division. Indians right now are 45-37. Kind of an underwhelming year for them. 6-4 in their last 10 games. They're 9 games ahead of the Tigers and the Twins, though, which two teams that are below 500.
Yeah. In comparison, if you put the Indians in any other division in baseball, they would not be in first place.
Right. They're lucky they're in the Central, really.
Mm-hmm.
Next storyline we have is Harper, Bryce Harper. He's kind of been having a rough year. This is a contract year for him. He'll be a free agent next year. Looking upwards to, $400 million is what they want to give him? Is what the numbers that have been floating around?
Yeah. I heard earlier this year was $500 million, but he's hitting almost $215, so they took about $100 million off, so only $400 million,
Yeah, what a shame. Only $400 million.
Enough.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, like you said, not doing too good. People like to put weight on the WAR statistic. He's only got a .5 WAR this year. Hitting .216, on-base percentage of .366, slugging .475, OPS of .841. But the hometown guy for this year's All-Star game, Bryce Harper, wanted to try out first base, which I found that to be a very interesting story.
Yeah, I think he's, if you look at it, Bryce Harper's moved around positions before. People may forget that he started his professional career as a catcher. Then when he got drafted by the Nationals, they moved him to outfield. So he's not a stranger to being moved around. But when you look at why he wants to move around, it makes sense. Nationals first basemen, the guys who regularly play first base, are both on the DL. That's Matt Adams and Ryan Zimmerman. So the Nationals are a team that's struggling a little bit, And so they got studs like Juan Soto, Adam Eaton, and Michael Taylor, all three outfielders, and all three hitting pretty all right, especially that young Juan Soto. So I think Bryce Harper's I think his mentality is he wants to move first base to kind of give the team more options, open up the field more.
Yeah.
Let the good players play.
I can definitely see that. We talked about how Bryce Harper's numbers have been down, his average is down, but that's just a part of a league-wide trend where average is down and home runs are up. You look at, he's batting, like what I said, 216. Last year he batted 319 with 29 bombs. He already has 20 bombs this year in 81 games. So I think that it's just a part of the trend of what's going on. His strikeouts are up to 84. Last year he had 99. But I don't know. Bryce Harper, he really is going to have a heck of a second half to really deserve his money.
Yeah. But, we've seen before when players might not have the best year, but their name alone carries a lot of weight. So I think especially, is his agent Scott Boras?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no way he's signing for less than $300 million, Right. Boras is gonna... Scott Boras is a really good agent. People may not like him, but he's a good agent, and he tries to get his clients the most money possible. So maybe Bryce Harper pulls an Eric Hosmer and signs in like January or February, as long as he gets the most money possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce Harper still gets his $300 million. Plus he's a young guy, so he'll probably get a Robbie Cano contract with more money.
More money. Our last storyline for today is Sale and Lester earn the Pitcher of the Month nod for June. Sale's a stud, man. Every time he goes out there, it seems like he's striking out double digits. Same with Lester. He learned that bounce pass to first base. That's pretty neat.
The human mind is an enigma. It's just so crazy to think that John Lester is the best starter on the Cubs, probably top 10 starters in the NL. But he can't throw to first base the same distance from home or pitcher's mound to home. It actually might even be shorter from the pitcher's mound to first. Just can't do it,
Yeah, you've seen Major League 2, haven't you?
I have not seen that.
Oh, well, the catcher gets the yips, and he can't throw back to the pitcher because he's just thinking about it too much. And I think that's a part of it. The mind is very powerful. If you start thinking about something too much, your body just won't do anything. It'll just freeze up. And I think he's just so worried about throwing an errant throw over to first that he just can't do it.
Rick Ankiel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rick Ankiel is one of the stories of the yips that just, baffles me. Pitcher, top prospect in the Cardinals organization. Top pitching prospect, boom, comes out. Absolute stud throwing. Then all of a sudden he gets the yips, starts overthrowing it, can't throw a strike to save his life. But then he's moved to the outfield and has one of the strongest arms. It's not the fact that he's overthinking the throwing motion from 60 feet 6 inches away, but you put him, 260 feet away from anybody, and he's like, oh, this is it. I remember now.
Right.
Boom.
See, goes back to that human mind thing. It's just all a mindset, which is absolutely crazy. It's beyond me. But John Lester and Chris Sale earned Pitchers of the Month for June. I will have a blog coming out later this week about my June sleepers and surprises. It should be a good one. This month was very eventful in the Major League Baseball. We'll go ahead and move on to the Farm Report. One guy that really stuck out to me, I follow the minor league baseball on Twitter. I saw this one come across my timeline here. Randy Salazar. I don't know if you say Caesar or Cesar. These prospects nowadays.
Yeah, I'm going to say Salazar, because Randy Caesar. That doesn't roll off the tongue.
It's probably Salazar. That sounds cooler. Randy Salazar had a 42-game hit streak.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
42 games in the Texas League. He broke the Texas League record. It was 37 games, and it was set nearly 50 years ago. Hats off to Randy Salazar for his 42-game hit streak.
That's unreal. To come in every day for 42 days with the mentality. One time I was playing baseball, old PO life, I went 42 games without getting a hit. But, pitcher only. So,
that happens.
That didn't matter. But the mindset to go in there 42 games and get a hit every day, that's another instance of the human mind, just being like, yeah, I can do this. This is an easy sport.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
It works both ways. The second guy I have on my farm report, Francisco Mejia, I've talked about him before. He's the Indians' number 1 prospect, number 16 overall, which plays for the Columbus Clippers in the AAA system. Mejia officially put his sluggish start to the season behind him in June by hitting .455, .476, .717, and collecting hits in 22 of 24 games, including 18 multi-hit performances. That's pretty good. The 22-year-old recorded at least 1 double in 5 straight games to pace all top 30 prospects in doubles, and his 16 hits were tied for the most among top 30 prospects. So that dude was raking in the month of June.
Cleveland fans might be upset with LeBron leaving and the Browns being bad, but the Indians are good, and they're going to be good for a while. So at least they have that to look forward to.
Yeah, they will be. They have some solid prospects in their minor league system, and they definitely don't have any room to complain about it. Hey, the Royals just got a top 100 prospect. Did you see that?
No way.
Yep, number 99.
Woohoo!
So now we
slow and steady, right?
We are in with the top 100 prospects.
Is that one of the guys you traded for, or is that homegrown?
I'm trying to think who it was. I think it's like Kalani Lee. Put me on the spot here. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But I don't think we traded for him. So I think he's one of our homegrown guys. Wouldn't be surprised, though. We just signed Jackson Coward to, I think it was $2.18 million deal. Wouldn't be surprised if he shows up on Baseball America Top 100. We haven't signed Brady Singer yet, and I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up there. So we'll be all right. We'll get that number 1 pick, and we'll definitely have a top 100 prospect.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if Brady Singer's around top 100. I might be more surprised about Coward, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. He pitched better in Omaha than Brady Singer did, though.
Yeah, but his last couple starts for Florida though weren't spectacular. So
that's true.
Maybe that was like the stress of the draft, and then once he got drafted, he's like, I'll carry it, and then vice versa for Brady.
Yeah, it is. It is international signing period. It opened up today on Monday. There's a international signing period is interesting because obviously you don't know a lot of these kids because they're just not from America. Obviously, because international signing, they don't get the exposure as these kids from college or high school do. So I think you'll find a Lindor in this. Or you'll find a Salvador Perez. You'll find a Yadier Molina. You'll find any of these, Juan Soto. You'll find a great crop of prospects in the international signing period.
The thing about these guys that you sign internationally, at least the guys from Central America, the Caribbean, that area, a lot of them are really good, and a lot of them are super young until they develop in the minors for a while. Like Juan Soto, that's where he came from.
Right.
The Giants just signed a guy, top international prospect, Marco Luciano from the Dominican Republic. He is 16 years old. So, he's going to be a stud. The Giants organization is going to bring him up correctly. So, or at least hopefully they do. So, these guys, the rules are different between them and like people in the States where they have to like graduate high school at least. Where Luciano, 16, just gonna go straight from the Dominican Republic to working with top-notch developers or top-notch talent developers in the Major League minor league system. And there's no better way to develop your talent than straight from the majors.
Right, I agree. You want to go ahead and run us through your series to watch here, KB?
Yeah, we already touched on two of them. The first one we record on Monday night, so the first two actually already started, and that's Boston at Washington. They got some good pitching matchups coming up. I think tonight they have Porcello and Scherzer going on. Scherzer's the best pitcher in the National League, so that's Mizzou made right there. So,
oh yeah.
So this will be a good series to watch. It'll be interesting to see how Boston bounces back from their series loss to the Yankees, and it'll be interesting. Washington is currently third in the NL East. See if maybe they can gain some momentum. The second series is the Bravos at the Yankees. The Braves just came off a series where they mollywopped my Cardinals, just absolutely stomped them into the ground. So they got plenty of momentum coming in. And then the Yankees coming off of an 11-1 win over the Red Sox. That's probably the best series of the week. If you're going to watch any series this week that doesn't contain your team, I would suggest that Atlanta at Yankees, and that's going to be Monday through Wednesday as well. And then after that Yankee series, my third and final series to watch is Braves at Brewers. That's a couple of first-place teams facing off. Braves are first place in the NL East by a couple games, I think maybe. Let me check before I get that. They lead by 3 games. This is a must-win series for the Brewers as they only lead the Cubs by a half a game. So it'll be interesting to see these two top teams face off, to truly determine who is the best in the National League.
Yeah, and you touched on how good Max Scherzer is. I saw a stat today before we hopped on the old Skype machine, and I shared Max Scherzer is the 11th player in MLB history to strike out 1,000 batters with 2 teams. That's pretty impressive.
He's a good ball player. Mizzou made, boy.
Yep, that's what happens. Him and Ian Kinsler. Mizzou made, baby.
Mm.
So I think that'll do it unless you have anything, KB.
I don't have anything else.
All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of Turn 2. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at NosebleedsKnow. Like us on Facebook, Nosebleed Knowledge. KB, are you going to a baseball game this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be going to a little independent league ball. I'll be watching the River City Rascals play on the 6th. So it'll be a good time.
Make sure you tweet that stuff out.
Oh, I will.
All right.
I'll make sure everybody's up to date on the comings and goings of the River City Rascals as they take on the Joliet Slammers.
Oh my goodness, that just sounds like a beaut of a matchup.
It's gonna be a great time.
An absolute beaut. I'm jealous. I love minor league baseball, especially independent league, because those guys in the independent league, honestly, just playing for the love of the game.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm looking at their schedule right now. On Tuesday the 10th, they have the 2018 Frontier League Home Run Derby featuring Jim Edmonds, Rick Ankiel, Ray Langford, and Mark Whitten.
Oh
so,
my gosh!
I would love to go to that.
That's the 10th?
That's the 10th.
I may have to clear my schedule. That may have to happen. Hopefully I'll be able to get out to the K this weekend, see the Red Sox, because that's one of those teams that's on my bucket list to see. They're always one of those. You know how when they sell tickets, they say, "Here's the promo offers. except for these teams, which is like Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, and always one other team. And I've always wanted to go to a Red Sox game, and I think I'll be able to get to go. I'm excited for it.
I've never seen the Red Sox play, but they're probably a good team.
We need to figure out combined how many MLB teams we've seen, because you're a National League guy. You like to watch the National League with the Cardinals, obviously. So
Yep.
I think if we sit down, we may have most of the league. I think I'm confident in a lot of the American League teams I've seen.
I think I sat down and did the math, and I think I've seen about 17 or 18 on my own. So
yeah, hopefully I can fill in those other ones. I know I've seen all the American League Central, so we'll tweet that out. We'll sit down and we'll figure it out and we'll tweet it out.
oh yeah.
All right, this is actually the real end of the episode. Thanks for listening to Turn 2 Podcast. We'll catch you guys on the flip.